Let's begin with a few money myths. And the first money myth that we're going to tackle is cash is king. Um, it is not. This is only a Wu-Tang lyric. Some of you guys may not be familiar with Wu-Tang, but this cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar, dollar bill. Cash is very important. Obviously, your income is very important, but at the end of the day, credit really rules everything around you. And why is that? It comes down to, again, that three-digit number, your credit score. That's super important, right? If you think about how you get access to a lot of things here, your house, your car, paying for your for your education, student loans, that's credit, right? You're taking out a loan with the ability to pay it back in the future, and that's literally leveraging credit. And so access to that credit is really important and is controlled by a large extent to your credit score, right? So in the same context, having a good credit score is, having opportunity, right? And so if you think about it, a lot of companies have set a minimum GPA for positions that they post. You need to have a 3.0 GPA to apply for a lot of for different jobs. Take that same concept and apply it to your credit score, right? To get access to a lot of the best opportunities out there, whether it's for your car or credit card or a home, you need a good credit score, right? Because this is how they view as, hey, I need to understand the risk that I'm taking from a financial institution standpoint of lending money to you. Will you pay me back in the future? So credit score is super important. So then myth number 2, income means security. Income is a means to security, but it has to be correctly used. In itself, income is not security, right? Wealth is security in America. So income is a means to building wealth. How do you use that income is very important, right? You can make $100,000, but if you're spending if my lifestyle is at $120,000, I'm not utilizing my income. I'm not spending appropriately. My income is not earning for me, right? So that's where we really need to make sure that you have the right focus and understanding that, true financial security is built on ownership, right? And what do you own? Assets, investments, right? And then you're thinking about, what do I owe? My debts, my credit, and that's wealth, right? When you add those pieces up, right? Your assets and your investments, and then you take away how much money do I own, and that's, that becomes your net worth. And that's where you truly have the ability to have security, financial freedom, when you have those choices. And so, you want to make sure that you really refocus your mind to realize that income is a means to wealth, but in itself is not wealth or security. So then the other part that, again, people sometimes think about is that, all debt is bad. So not knocking Dave Ramsey, but, if you listen to some folks out there, they're always talking about debt is bad, debt is bad. Not really. So there's a spectrum of debt, right? And this is where you need to make sure that you understand that spectrum of debt and then get the knowledge to pick out what's the debt spectrum and how do you, personally move some of these categories around. Again, it's okay, but there's an opportunity cost, and then there's the actual cost of acquiring certain debt. So again, on one extreme side, you have payday lenders, people charging folks 25, 50, sometimes used to be 300% interest rates for some really bad loans. And a lot of people, unfortunately, were stuck in this debt spiral, they would call it, where you could not get out to pay off those loans. And then again, as you come down the spectrum, you'll see kind of your car is somewhat still on the bad side per se, because again, if you're buying a car that's super expensive and you're paying 25% interest rates on that car, that's not a good place, right? That doesn't build anything for you. But on the other side of that, things like home ownership, things like business ownership, that assets that are creating additional value, again, a lot of that can be leveraged through credit, right? So you just understand the spectrum of there, and you kind of see education sitting in the middle, because again, depending on how you found the financing for your education could be positive or negative, right? So again, but the goal is to make sure that you have the education to be able to earn, right? So you can put yourself in a better position. So that's really where understanding the debt spectrum, stick as much as you can over on the positive side of the debt spectrum, again, credit cards themselves may not be bad, but again, having 24, 25% interest rates on credit cards is not a great spot. So, right, you're actually paying significant for that capital that you've borrowed in the means of a credit card. So what's investing versus speculating? You need to understand the difference between the two. What is investing and what's speculating? So if we think about investing, do you understand the fundamentals of the asset that you're investing in? If you do, that means you're investing. If you don't, that's just speculation. And what's speculation? I hope this thing appreciates in price. I hope it keeps going up, right? Simple one, recent example, GameStop. Everybody jumped on GameStop because, it was in the news, had a lot of hype, a lot of publicity. It was squeezing the VC teams that were hedge funds that were trying to short it. And so everybody jumped onto that, right? But that's not investing. What are the fundamentals of GameStop? What are the price to earnings ratios? What are its forecasts for the next 3 years? What is its competitive advantage, right? How does GameStop truly make money? If I don't understand those aspects, then that's not truly investing. Investing is looking at the fundamentals of a business and seeing kind of a long-term vision and a long-term prospect of truly, being valuable. And so that's some of the things that you need to make sure that you're understanding when it comes to investing. And then again, understand my decision-making process. I may want to speculate at some point. I may want to invest at some point, but they are mutually exclusive. You're not speculating and calling it investing, right? So I think just understanding that framework, understanding that mindset, and putting yourself in a space where you can make the right decisions, right? Not saying all speculation is terrible. Again, if you want to speculate there's opportunity for you sometimes to make a quick win, but that's not true investing, right? So understand those aspects. Some simple things like, again, you're getting into your first job, you're probably going to be getting into a 401k. What is a 401k? It's a replacement for a pension, where now the companies give you as an employee the opportunity to choose how you want to invest your funds for the long term, right? For setting up for retirement. And they typically give you an option of a match, right? I want to match your contributions as an employee dollar for dollar, or 50 cents on a dollar, up to 3%, up to 6%. You want to make sure that you maximize those items in your 401k match. It's almost free money. You don't want to give away free money when it comes to 401k match. Then think about, how do you diversify your investments, right? There's different ways to think about stocks, bonds, ETFs, solid investments. I want to own income producing property in the future, whether I want to be a landlord or just invest in a real estate investment trust. Right. So make sure that you start getting a better, broader sense of the investment tools that are out there and start leveraging some of those. And again, couple of quick things that you want to think about. What's my risk tolerance? Right? What's my time horizon? Am I long-term focused, or am I short-term focused? Right? When you're long-term focused, that's more on the investing side, and I'm short-term focused, that's more leaning towards the speculating side. Right? And then again, from an investment standpoint, what information do I have about this asset that I'm about to invest in that is, critical for me to make the right decision, right? So those are just some points you want to think about when it comes to investing.